Let's get this list started in at number 10 with the Haunt Mansion. This abandoned mansion is located in Brush Park, Michigan. Back in 1941, it was used as an upscale brothel, but years after it was initially opened, a ton of dead bodies were found in the cellar of the mansion. All of the dead bodies were marked with a perfect circle on their torso and chest areas. The murderer was never found, and no one knows why they committed these gruesome murders. All we know for certain is that this mansion is full of angry spirits, and anyone who steps foot in this abandoned mansion will have a pretty rude awakening. But of course, people don't listen to the warnings, and they decide to check out the haunted mansion for themselves. Once they got inside, they reported feeling a cold chill brush over them. They said that they can hear screams coming from the basement and weird footsteps coming towards them. Take my advice and never visit the haunted mansion. If you do, I'm sure you'll instantly regret it. You'll go in there and you'll be like, is this real life right now? And for you guys older fans watching this video, I think that's a drink. I think that's a shot for you guys. I don't know, you guys kill for the game, and I'm just here to make it more fun. The Nova House creeps onto this list at number 9. A man named Benjamin Albright accidentally shot and killed his son in 1958 in this house. He was filled with grief and regret, so he decided to kill his wife and then kill himself. I'm not sure how you accidentally kill your son, and I don't know why he thought that killing his wife would improve the situation. But since these brutal murders, the home came abandoned ever since. But if you were to visit this house, you would see that some of the family stuff is still inside. But I think I have better things to do with my time, than to explore a decrepit house where a family was killed. But that's just me. And of course, there are people on YouTube who thought it would be a good idea to look inside for themselves.
Then from down below. Lot of debris from this ceiling. Here's room number 2. Ooh, a little soft right there.
Number 8 brings us to San Z UFO houses in Taiwan. These strange looking houses were originally intended to be used as a vacation resort, but this idea quickly failed. Several car accidents, deaths, and even suicides happened in this location during construction, so this project was never completed. There have been a lot of ghost sightings, and locals say that these UFO houses are extremely haunted. No one should ever go inside these buildings, because if you do, you will never be the same when you leave, if you leave. But of course, people don't listen to these cautionary tales, and they decide to do some exploring of their own.
You can peek inside. Some of the windows are blown out too. So here's the living room, the old television there, and then that was the kitchen there in the center. And then if I pan to the right through there, you can see there's a bedroom, and then on the other side is the bathroom.
Some people even believe that these houses belong to the spirits that haunt this area, and many of them are evil and have a lot of unfinished business to take care of. Number 7, the Willard Asylum. The Willard Asylum was called an asylum because it was more like a prison. Patients were kept until the staff decided that they can leave. And sadly, many of them, well, they never left. They were never released. During that time, mental health was not understood very well. Some of the people who were locked inside weren't actually insane. If I was in there, I would definitely become insane. More than half of the 50,000 patients that came to the Willard Asylum died within its walls. And this is what makes the old abandoned buildings so creepy. In 1995, hundreds of suitcases were found in the attic, and they belonged to the patients who never left. As it turns out, these suitcases were stowed away and forgotten about for decades. It's sort of a creepy reminder of all the former patients that were locked away and forgotten about, by the outside world. That gives me the creep, so let's move on. Miranda Castle climbs up this list at number 6. During World War II, the Miranda Castle was used as an orphanage, but it was abandoned in 1980, and since then, it has been decaying ever since. It's extremely popular with ghost hunters because of its gruesome and dark past. The architect died while it was under construction, and his death still remains as a mystery. A devastating fire broke out, and it damaged a major portion of the roof and other parts of the castle, and no one knows how the fire started. A violent storm hit the castle in 2006, which caused further damage to the property. And now teenage delinquents, homeless people, paranormal hunters, I'm sure some YouTubers, and Satanists frequently explore this decrepit building. I think knowing that Satanists are coming here to perform their rituals is scary enough for me. I wouldn't go anywhere near this building even if you paid me, unless it was like 30 grand. I think I'd do it for 30 grand. Next up, number 5, we have the haunted vicarage in Sweden. This might look like an innocent farmhouse, but trust me, it has a dark past. Or it wouldn't have been on this list. It was built in 1876, and ever since then, it had been known to be an extremely haunted house. Many people who've been inside claim that they've seen the ghost of a woman in the house, and paranormal activities happen all the time. In 1941, a woman who visited this house woke up at night and realized that she wasn't alone. 3 old women were sitting in her room staring at her in the dark. Once they turned on the light, the 3 ghosts were still there, but they were extremely blurry. And in 1945, a man bought a rocking chair and brought it inside. However, he was never able to sit on it because it was thrown out of the window by an aggressive invisible force. But despite all of these scary stories, all of these poor souls decided to go inside of this creepy building anyways.
Vill du hjälpa oss med det igen? Kan du sätta dig ner på soffan och få den där speldosan att spela igen?
I don't know what was making that sound, but I know I wouldn't be sticking around long enough to find out. I mean, I'm not that curious. The axe murder house in Iowa slashes its way in at number 4. On the night of June 10th, 1912, 6 members of the Moore family and 2 house guests were found bludgeoned to death inside of this creepy house. All 8 of the victims had evidence that they were struck with an axe. A long investigation was done, but after 2 trials, the crime still remains unsolved, and no one knows who this axe murderer is. But now, for a small fee, well, you could choose between a range of daylight and overnight tours. So yeah, you can visit this murder house, but I don't see why anyone would want to. It's so weird that we are commercializing a gruesome murder in an abandoned house. We should all just let them rest in peace, but some sick person is cashing in some serious money. So I guess we should take a look inside from the comfort of our own house to, let's check out what the hype's all about.
It was his superstition that if you did something evil and you knew it was evil, you couldn't look at yourself in a mirror. So he covered all the mirrors in the house and all the windows as well. And this up here is supposedly an axe mark. And in a way it would make sense because Josiah, who was on the side of the bed right here, closest to the dresser, was hit with the sharp end of the axe. He was the only one to be killed with the sharp.
Now at number 3 we have the Beechworth Lunatic Asylum. Try saying that 3 times fast. This is an extremely haunted psychiatric hospital that is located in Victoria, Australia. By the time that they finally closed its doors in 1995, a ton of patients have died during the 128 years that it was in operation. Apparently the psychiatric hospital brutally treated their patients, and a lot of the time patients would physically be tortured and abused, and they had little hopes of escaping. The patients were subjects to straitjackets, restrained chairs, and isolated cages. Oh, and let's not forget about the lobotomies and electroshock treatments that were used as well. So it's no wonder why this place is incredibly haunted with angry spirits. People say that they've seen a young girl wandering the halls, and she desperately tries to communicate with anyone that she comes into contact with. I can't believe that people actually step inside of a place like that.
You got that weird noises randomly and just all the creepy sounds you hear. Oh, so this is what the rooms used to look like. Yeah, that's creepy.
Ancient Ram Inn takes us to number 2. This creepy house is located in Gloucestershire, England. And let me know if I pronounced that right. I don't know how you're gonna tell me if I pronounced it right in the comment section below. Well, the owner claims that it is one of the most haunted places on earth. A lot of scary paranormal stuff goes on inside of these walls. People have reported seeing lights flickering and ghostly figures walking around the inn. A local legend says that the paranormal power comes from the center of the stone hedge, and it's actually fueling this place with spiritual energy. There's also a pagan burial ground that is located beneath this inn that makes this place just 100 times more creepy. Oh, and I forgot to mention that this place is supposedly haunted with evil demons that are just waiting to take your soul.
The ancient Ram Inn was built in 1145. Today, it continues its existence as one of the most haunted buildings in the whole of England, if not the world. It's notorious.
I'm now upstairs in the attic. It's very, very creepy. So just behind me, back here, I can't actually go further than this because the ground is so unstable, it's kind of dangerous. So they don't let people go past there. And then if I turn around, behind me is actually where the former daughter's bedroom was. I'm not sure how old she was when she slept up here, but it's so scary up here that I'm not sure I would like it as my bedroom.
And now, topping our list at number 1, we have the Monte Cristo Homestead, which is located in New South Wales, Australia. This place is known as the most haunted house in Australia because there are hundreds of creepy reports each year. Strange lights, creepy ghosts, slamming doors, unexplained animal mutilations, and weird sounds are just a few things you can expect to see when you visit the Monte Cristo house. Several brutal murders occurred in this house, and to top it all off, it used to be a prison for a mentally impaired man. But wait, there's more. While it was in operation, a pregnant woman was pushed over a balcony, a baby was thrown down the stairs, and a stable boy was burned to death while he was sleeping. Is this real life right now? It is said that if you take pictures here, ghosts will appear in your photo, and it feels like someone, or I should say something, is watching you. You'll also feel hands touching you and strange footsteps. Yeah, no thanks, not for this, brown guy. I think I value my life way too much to ever visit this creepy house. Coming in at number 10, we have Montclair House at 44 Pleasant Avenue, Montclair. An eye-catching 6-bedroom, 3,900 square feet house in New Jersey is located on 3 acres of land, is more than 100 years old, and preserved by the Historic Preservation Commission given its historic significance. And it's on the market right now. Well, yeah, we're already talking about that $10 house. This one's listed for $10, not including the land though. The land has been commissioned for the site of 8 houses to be built around the historic house. Thus, the buyer of this $10 mansion will have to agree to move the house at their own expense. So yeah, there's always a catch-22. And also there's a lot of renovations that's needed in this house. All that along with preserving the historic elements inside the house, but removing the toxic lead paint and also the asbestos by law. No wonder no one wants to inherit this mess on purpose. So yeah, not even $10 is worth it. You could even pay me $10 to deal with all of that. At number 9, located on a tree-lined dead-end street in Nyack, New York, One Lovetto Place is famous as its past celebrity owners, including director Adam Brooks, singer Ingrid Michaelson, and rapper Mattis Yahoo. The spacious home features 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, and its walking distance to downtown areas. The 1890 Queen Anne Victorian also boasts arched doorways, stained glass, and an in-ground saltwater pool, and views of the Hudson River for almost every room. So what seems to be the problem? Well, the home gained notoriety when the New York Supreme Court declared it legally haunted in 1991. Is this real life right now? I never knew a Supreme Court, like a judge, can deem a house legally haunted. Absolutely insane. The ruling was a result of the Zombovsky W. Ackley case, in which homebuyer Jeffrey Zombovsky sued seller Helen Ackley over not disclosing the haunting prior to the sale and fought to rescind his offer. Well, the court ruled in Zombovsky's favor, and the home made history. Absolutely insane. While there have not been any reported hauntings in recent years, perhaps you'll experience the paranormal activities the Aucklands publicly claimed to have had happened decades ago. Before selling the home, Helen and her family had reported multiple incidents of poltergeist from the Revolutionary War, shaking the bed, slamming doors, and leaving gifts. Okay, leaving gifts ain't the worst thing unless I don't know what the gifts are. Up next, number 8, in 1875, a wealthy chair manufacturer named Sylvester K. Pierce designed and built a magnificent Victorian home. This beautiful Massachusetts home boasts 10 beds, 2.5 baths, which is like a half a bathroom, so I think it's like no shower. 11-foot ceilings, marble fireplaces, and all original windows, doorknobs, hinges, and floors. So with all of those exquisite details, how could the owner possibly ask for just $329,000? That's roughly the same price as an average 3-bedroom home. So why is this beautiful mansion such a steal? Well, you guessed it, it's got a haunting history. Over the years, in the hands of many owners, 7 individual deaths have been documented in the house, including a strangled prostitute. The house experiences so much paranormal activities. It's actually been investigated by TV shows like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, My Ghost Story, and also in the show Top 10 Most Haunted Places in New England. So who is still roaming the halls of this gorgeous mansion? Well, some say they've seen figures of like a busy servant girl. Others have seen a little boy who stares longingly out the front window, and to some they see a sad woman. I don't know about you guys, but ghosts are one thing, but creepy children ghosts, well, it's a hard no for me. Coming in hot at number 7 on this list, some homes aren't necessarily haunted like most on this list, but this next mansion just won't sell. 50 Cent, you know, the rapper 50 Cent, who has he been, where has he been these days? Is he still rapping, making music? I don't know where this guy is. Maybe he became $1. Well, he listed his 50,000 square foot home in Farmington, Connecticut for $18.5 million in 2015. In the fall of that year, he lowered his price from $18.5 million to $8.5 million. How do you slash a home by $10 million? Was it overpriced by $10 million? Or is he just taking a huge loss of $10 million? And this is after he filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And then it didn't sell at that point, so he lowered it again, starting at $18.5 million to $5.995 million in 2016. And same situation, it's still on the market. So if you guys are looking to buy a $6 million home owned by 50 Cent, it's available for you right now, but you gotta move to like Connecticut. This next home is totally over the top with 21 bedrooms, 25 bathrooms in case you never know at any moment when you gotta use the bathroom. And then there's like bam, 10 on the floor you're on. There's an indoor pool, a hot tub, a substantial nightclub, because why not make money in the place you live? Let's bring all these like crazies into your house and hookers, and let's just party it out. There's an indoor court so you can hoop. There's multiple game rooms, a green screen room for us, we can go filming. So all the things I'm naming right now is all in 50 Cent's house that just won't sell. Alright, let's move on from that. Number 6, which is bringing you similar fashion to number 7, former President Barack Obama. Hey, if Obama's selling his house, I want to buy it. I want to see what secret rooms he's got going on, especially because Trump is president. Obama probably has like a bunker underground, and just in case. You know, there was lots of tension between Trump and North Korea, and missiles and nuclear wars. So you know, when you're buying this house, you're also buying a hidden bunker. Well, former President Barack Obama and his family rented this sprawling 7,000 square foot mansion in Martha's Vineyard for an entire summer in 2013, but that seemed not to have made the house any easier to sell. So the house listed it in 2015 for $22.5 million. Just 3 months later, the house had already chopped its price by 15%. They're pulling at 50 Cent in this one. So now the house is on the market for $17.75 million. I mean, I get the hefty price tag, but who wouldn't want to live in a former president vacation home? And then imagine it's like 2 months out of the year you have to book a hotel because Obama needs your house. He's got to enjoy the summer. Next up, number 5, we got Mr. Kreischer's mansion. The magnificent Victorian mansion just outside of New York had a replica which was a stone's throws away. However, it was destroyed during the Great Depression. Generally, beautiful houses like this don't stay long in the market, but for this house, well, you guys know this list, this house is just not able to sell. It is said to be one of the most haunted places in the city. Firstly, Krishna's son committed suicide, which doesn't help the case of this house. There was rumors of voices, there was appearances, and other paranormal phenomenon took hold of them. Do you guys think that you can live there? If you were paid $1 million to live in the world's most haunted house with a chance of you dying, would you guys do it? Number 4, we have Shreppey Mansion, Lake Forest, Illinois. This place-like mansion is spread over 21,000 square feet. I mean, I would get lost in that. You can put a corn maze inside of your house and still get lost. And even though this house has 12 bathrooms, I'd be too lost to even find one of them. There's 11 baths, 400 feet of beach, which is absolutely insane. So this house has hosted a number of royals and nobles, including the Duke of Windsor, in its 100-year-long existence. After being expensively and elaborately restored, this royal mansion was put on the market for 18 million USD American dollars, which is like $100 million Canadian, because yeah, your guys' dollar is a lot better than ours. But then after they had to slice the price, they slashed it in half, like a 50% discount. It's like going to your realtor and he gives you a 50% code to use on a freaking house. Well, this was actually over a period of 10 years. The house just kept getting reduced and reduced and reduced, but still no one wants to buy it. Proper real estate and consistent data are available mostly for the mansions in the US, and they are on the market too. Although there are plenty of haunted houses and places in European countries, most of them are still owned by royals or the government, and they're not for sale. Many of these houses in this list are open for viewing, as the realtors can't wait to sell these cursed but gorgeous rejects. And if you're a realtor, do you have to say someone died in this house, or can you kind of like... Okay, next, at number 3, we have this next scary mansion that no one wants to buy. We're talking about the Pillars Estate, Albion, located in New York. So a lot of these are in the States. Is there anything up here in Canada that's haunted that no one wants to buy, that's underpriced, that I might consider? Well, another historic mansion in New York. Well, this is 7,200 square feet. The Greek style house has 6 bedrooms, 3 baths, 5 fireplaces, because I guess the winters in New York is very cold, a parlor, a library, and even a ballroom. So you can have your own wedding in your own house in the ballroom. It is a classic specimen of a mansion, and yet it was put on sale for $1 million. Again, USD, so like 10 million Canadian. But all jokes aside, come 2017, the price fell to half of the original without any buyers, despite the expensive renovations that made it livable. The reason behind this cannot get any more classy, given its style. The owners and the workers claim to have seen or heard humans around this Victorian mansions. Yeah, they heard a lot of ghosts, particularly a child from a former lady of the house. Again, the child ghost things, yeah, from the words of Simon Cowell, it's a no for me. Number 2 on this list, Los Feliz Murder House. I mean, is that the advertisement? Hey, house on sale, $10 million, Los Feliz Murder House. Would you like to buy it, sir? Yeah, if the price is right. 15 million? You got it. On December 6, 1959, cardiologist Harold Perelson murdered his wife with a hammer, then killed himself in this beautiful Spanish rivalry home in Los Feliz, California. After the infamous murder-suicide, the home was sold but never lived in. In fact, the interior wasn't cleaned out for years following the incident, preserving that night in time and adding to the home creepy aesthetics. Trespassers in the past have reported finding old magazines and books, canned foods, and cleaning supplies. Rumor has it there was even unwrapped presents sitting under the Christmas tree standing in one of the rooms. And the moment you guys have all been waiting for, number 1 on this list, the Dakota New Yorkers. Well, they might recognize this Central Park apartment building's iconic mix of architectural styles, while Beatle fans recognize it because of its history. Not only was the house we're talking about right now was the residence of John Lennon and also Yoko Ono, it was also a place where Lennon was fatally shot by Mark David Chapman in 1980. Throughout the building existence, residents and staff have claimed to see the ghost of a little girl and a crying lady and Lennon himself. However, supposed hauntings and an alleged curse won't keep buyers away from the luxurious 9-room apartment for sale inside the building. The residence feature 9-foot ceilings, original moldings, and city views from floor to ceiling windows. You may also have a famous neighbor as well. Past residents include Judy Garland and Bono. Yoko Ono still lives in the Dakota today, but even if you love the apartment and can afford the $10 million price tag, well, there's one thing keeping you from moving in: the co-op board. Upon receiving your application and background check results, this group of people chooses whether you live in the Dakota or not, and they are apparently scarier than any spirit hauntings the building. The board has a history of being choosy and has rejected such celebrities like Madonna, Alex Rodriguez, Cher, and Billy Joel. And they'll probably reject me as well.
Off this countdown, we have the bleeding painting. What I find crazy is when mansions are left still fully furnished. Like, are they just that rich that they can afford to leave all their stuff behind and just completely refurnish their new mansion? Probably. So this next urban explorer entered an abandoned mansion that still had big, elaborate, expensive looking paintings hanging on the walls. But something was off about the paintings. Some of them looked like blood was dripping from their eyes. On some paintings there was red liquid leaking from their eyes. The thing was, when they touched the liquid, it was wet. Meaning someone just freshly did that. Or somehow the paintings are perpetually wet. Or actually crying blood. I don't know, but I'm certain that that house is probably cursed. In our 9th spot, we have the dummy heads. While exploring an $8 million abandoned mansion, urban explorer, photographer, and YouTuber Freaktography came across some very creepy finds. So the mansion he was exploring was once owned by a rich dentist. Now it's extremely overgrown and rotting. Now inside the basement were multiple dental mummies. Just take a look at them and tell me that those aren't creepy. So the dummies were made to look as realistic as possible and even had human teeth on the inside. But now they have turned yellow and are rotting. Then you have the shelf of other dummies that look like some weird torture masks. I don't know, but I don't like those dummies at all. But the worst thing in this house was that in one of the bathrooms they had 2 toilets facing each other. Whoa, like I'm trying to do my business in peace. I'm not trying to lock eyes with someone else as I'm squeezing out my poopski potato. Seriously, who designed that? In our 8th spot, we have the room of dolls. Who here gets creeped out by dolls? I do. Specifically the old vintage looking ones. I swear they were designed to look creepy. Well, in this next abandoned mansion, an urban explorer found a room filled with dolls. No furniture, no decorations, only dolls. Dolls lined on shelves, dolls lined on the floor, just dolls everywhere. Obviously they were creeped out, so they decided to check out the other rooms. But when doing so, they heard a clunk come from the doll room. When they went back in, they saw that a doll had fallen from the shelf and it was now near the middle of the room, seated upright, just staring at them. That's when they decided to leave the house. Good call. That was probably cursed by Annabelle or something. Moving on to number 7, we have the groaning. Reddit user Never Enough Muppets shared their experience exploring an abandoned mansion in their hometown in Long Island. When he first entered the house, he was amazed. It was filled with late 60s, early 70s furniture along with a bunch of old kid toys and antiques. But on the 3rd floor, that's when things got weird. As he started walking down the warped hallway, a man popped out of a room and started dragging himself down the hallway after him. The guy was letting out big groans as he chased after him. Okay, hopefully that the guy wasn't sick and in need of help and was like, please help me come back. Hopefully it was just like a scare tactic to chase away any trespassers. Hopefully he's doing alright. In our 6th spot, we have the illegal clinic. While renovating an old abandoned mansion, the workers discovered the dark truth behind it. In the basement, they found 2 jars of formaldehyde. Each jar had a preserved fetus in it. They went on to do research on the mansion and discovered it was once an illegal abortion clinic. Yikes. I would not be buying that mansion. See, that's why you need to always know the history of your house before you buy it. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the cursed mansion. Honestly, all of these mansions are probably cursed, but chances are this one is the most cursed of them all. So while exploring an abandoned mansion, this urban explorer discovered some loose floorboards in a crawl space. He pried the floorboards off and found a Ouija board had been placed in there upside down. The board had scratch marks all over it. Some believe that whoever hid it did so to protect themselves. They concealed it and placed it upside down to break contact with an entity that was probably messing with them. And this isn't the first time someone has found a Ouija board hidden in a house placed upside down. In 2016, a construction worker found one in the walls of a house that he was working on. Creepy. In our 4th spot, we have the crime scene. Urban explorer Freaktography was exploring an old abandoned mansion when he realized that the house was a murder scene. Parts of the house were covered in crime scene tape. It makes you wonder what went down in that house. Maybe it was the site of a gruesome murder and that's why the family had to pack up and leave. I wish we had more information. Like, I just want to know what happened there. Coming in at number 3, we have the asbestos. Reddit user O shared their experience exploring an abandoned Victorian mansion that was then converted into a mental asylum. So right off the bat, you know it's gonna be creepy. The house had its bedrooms converted into patient rooms, but it's also pretty cool because they had a big ballroom and an indoor fountain. However, after being there for a while, they saw a sign that read, "Warning, extremely high levels of asbestos in this area. Respirators must be worn. If you have been exposed, go to the nearest hospital immediately." Well, that sucks. I feel like that sign would have been much better on the front of the house so that people can see it before they enter. Moving on at number 2, we have the morgue. Some houses have really cool basements. Maybe it's turned into a home theater or an awesome arcade. That would be amazing. But in this case, this basement was a full-on morgue. In the morgue, there were a bunch of tools and body trays left out. Both were stained with blood. The creepiest part? While exploring the morgue, one of the lockers, aka the holding cell for the bodies, you know when you see the movie where they like slide it out, yeah, one of those, the doors just open on its own. See, that's why you don't have a morgue in your house. You're dealing with dead bodies and the spirit of the dead could literally get attached to you or your house. Then you're out there living with countless ghosts. And in our number 1 spot, we have the bloodstains. This next urban explorer broke into a mansion that was abandoned after the family packed up their stuff and left quickly during the night. Where was the mansion? Hill House? Residents of the area never knew why the family left all of a sudden and without any notice. So this explorer went there to get some answers. And he may have found the answer in one of the bedrooms. In the master bedroom, the mattress, sheets, and comforter were all stained with dry blood. And it wasn't just a couple of spots of blood. No, like it was a lot. So I'm thinking someone got killed there and they fled so that no one could find out about the crime.